Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Newsroom. I'm your host, Khalid. Today is the 25th of July 2023, and our topic of discussion today is the relationship between Pakistan and the United States of America. Now, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken had a telephonic conversation with our Foreign Minister Bilawal Zardari, in which different aspects of our bilateral relationship were discussed. Not only that, we've had the CENTCOM chief also have a conversation with our Chief of the Army Staff not that far back. The fact remains that the United States considers Pakistan an important ally, an important partner, and vice versa. How important is the relationship? More in the following report.
Values its long-standing and broad-based relationship with the US and aspires to further deepen the partnership. During the past 1 year, apart from holding 6 dialogues, exchange of high-level visits had diversified and solidified the relationship. As part of regular diplomatic engagements between the two countries, US State Secretary Antony Blinken had a productive telephonic conversation with Foreign Minister Bilawal Zardari. The two foreign ministers discussed the United States' support for Pakistan's economic recovery and shared regional concerns, including Afghanistan. They also discussed the regional security situation, including the threat from terrorism, and reaffirmed their desire to continue close cooperation for lasting peace and stability in Afghanistan. U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said in a statement that Secretary Blinken underscored the U.S.'s steadfast commitment to the people of Pakistan, highlighting that the economic success of Pakistan remains a top priority for the U.S. The phone call between two foreign ministers came hours after U.S. Central Command Chief General Michael Eric Kurilla, in meeting with Chief of Army Staff General Asim Munir, recognized Pakistan's continued efforts for bringing peace and stability to the region. Constructive engagement between Pakistan and the U.S. for promoting peace, security and development in the region is imperative.
We've been joined in the studios by Dr. Farah. She's an expert in foreign affairs. Dr. Farah, thank you very much to have joined us. Dr. Farah, as the U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said, Anthony Blinken spoke on the telephone with our Foreign Minister Bilawal Zardari and quote-unquote reaffirmed a productive U.S.-Pakistan partnership. What are the different aspects of this productive U.S.-Pakistan partnership?
Thank you, Omar, for posing such an interesting and important question. First of all, we have to see the timing of the phone call, where like the current government is already counting on its days of completion of the term of the government, and at this point in time such an important call coming to Pakistani state, and then they are discussing several keys, what's called important key aspects, like they want to have bilateral relationship, trade partnership, they want to eradicate certain kind of defense related or security related affairs. They are focusing more on regional security, which has always remained one of the core aspect of Pakistan-US relationship and partnership back in time and even now. And then at this point in time when they are talking about Afghanistan's stability, so all these things are super important, and coming at this time is a little, an element of concern for me, the why now, and what the current government can do in these number of days which are left with them. It has become a little difficult. But I would say it's still better to have such kind of cozy relationship with one another, because Pakistan and America, they have been friends and allies from decades and decades since Pakistan came into existence, and we both have been through several thicks and thin as well, and it is not the first time that we're talking about all these key issues. We have been working together from the jihadism, then to the war on terror, and even now. So it's not something is not new here. It's just the same, debate and discussion that we both are working on.
All right, now let's discuss counter-terrorism. This is also one of the factors that was discussed during the conversation between Mr. Blinken and Mr. Bilawal Zardari, where Mr. Blinken affirmed, quote-unquote, affirmed the U.S. commitment to continue partnership with Pakistan on counter-terrorism. In your esteemed point of view, what are the shared objectives as far as counter-terrorism is concerned between Pakistan and the US?
I would like to take your attention to the recent visit of Modi to America. And both India and America, they were discussing terrorism aspects. And I think it was your show or some other media forum that I was sharing on that I can see there will be a lot of terrorist activities happening in Pakistan, because suddenly when the world attention is shifted towards something big is coming up stepwise. And we can see that since that day, I'm not saying that that was the first day, there were and there has been several incidences of terrorism in Pakistan and on Pakistani soil. But since that day, there is a raise, an increase in the elements or the number of terrorist activities happening in Pakistan. So everything connects us to what is happening and how it is happening. Of course, it goes back to Afghanistan and all those terrorists and sleeping cells who were there and now got activated and using the Afghan territory and soil against Pakistan is really raising lots of concerns for Pakistan. But America at this junction, when asking about some kind of deliberate attempts or some kind of shared goals to eradicate terrorism and extremism and all of those, it shows that they still want to support, but what for and why and how. Are they trying to enter Afghanistan one more time, which they have already left recently?
Is it also a kind of mistrust in the Indian designs as far as the region is concerned, that they are also relying on Pakistan and trying to cooperate with Pakistan on counter-terrorism?
The beauty of a superpower is, Omar, that it kinds of create balances everywhere. So, of course, when it comes to Pakistan and India, America is always tilted towards India in very open and blunt kind of ways and mechanism. But I'm not saying here that America is not having good relationship with Pakistan. Pakistan has been its strongest ally, and Pakistan supported America in those times where India probably was not capable enough, probably in the form of its geostrategic location. I will not say based on its capabilities, but Pakistan being strategically located in such a place which can offer and extend support to American designs and its interest and its policies when it comes to Afghanistan. So yes, in that context, this is how things were happening, and it's not about mistrust, it's about keeping other party under control. This is how international politics is played out. So of course, as I said, India is closely aligned to America, and America is having close partnership with India, and America openly says that it is my best of the best and it's my strategic partner and all of that. So in that context, it's also like I'm always fearful of that when it comes to superpower, when it comes to powerful.
Maybe the US is also trying to balance out its relationship with the important stakeholders in the region.
Yes, yes, and they cannot deny Pakistan position being an important stakeholder, and it takes us back to the equation of Pakistan-China relationship and Pakistan-US relationship. We have seen recently there's a lot of, there was a lot of discussion taking place about CPEC and all, and there is this, CPEC anniversary happening.
10 years of CPEC.
10 years of CPEC. And when the 10 years of CPEC is getting celebrated across Pakistan and China, the call is coming up that we want to have good relationship with one another. Is this the first time?
But Dr. Farah, all said and done, don't you feel Pakistan could balance between both the US and China?
Of course, Pakistan has to. I believe in interest, because this is in the right of every state to pursue its interest. Pakistan should have balanced relationship both with China and with America, and that can only happen if Pakistan has a balanced foreign policy, which we are struggling with at this point in time. I would say is that most of the time we have been given options by America every now and then, that you are with us or against us, or you have to support, if you are supporting China, this means you are in that bloc, and then we will shut down lots of borders on you. Probably there is a realization, and since it's probably the election era
India
is coming.
Doing exactly the same thing. It is having a relationship with Russia,
Of
with
course.
the United States of America, and also an economic relationship with China, despite all the differences.
Yes, because this is the game of interest, as I said, in international politics and being superpower. All countries are controlled by the superpower one way or the other. Now it's up to the state's interest, what they want. Of course, they cannot, take their paths away from the superpower, because there would be a loss of pressure on them coming on their way. So they have to be very, very logical and very clear on their foreign policy, what they want, how they want, and what benefits they are looking for, and from whom. So if we talk about Russia, if we talk about Afghanistan, if we talk about China, Pakistan should be clear-headed what they want and how they want to achieve it. And I would strongly suggest Pakistan should not offend America. Pakistan should do something that having good relation with everyone.
Have a constructive relationship with both the countries. I mean, both the United States of America and China. I think it will go in the benefit of all three stakeholders, China, the US and Pakistan.
But we have to see here that whether China will be happy with this kind of cordial relationship with America. We have seen the foreign policy of China. They are not asking Pakistan to be here or to be there, because they themselves are very calculated in terms of their economic benefits, in terms of their prosperity and all. Development is something at the core of Chinese foreign policy. So they understand if Pakistan is taking such steps, why they're taking it. But at the same time, if Pakistan takes certain steps that is, like not taking the progress and prosperity, which is at the core of the Chinese foreign policy, that will get in direct clash with the Chinese foreign policy. So they will not let it happen.
But Dr. Farah, I understand where you're coming from, but the fact remains that China also understands the geostrategic environment of the region and how important it is for Pakistan, or a country like Pakistan, to balance out its relationship with all the important global stakeholders, that includes both US and China.
Exactly. And China is realizing at this stage that if because China, for BRI, CPEC and all in its completion, and CPEC being the flagship project of BRI, so China understands successful completion of this project is important for China. They are very, as I said, very calculated on their foreign policies and all. So they want to have certain aspects in Pakistan to get stabilized, because stability is important, and for stability, having strong relationship with all key partners is very much important.
You talk of stability, which brings me to Afghanistan. How important is for both Pakistan and the United States to work together in order to bring that stability?
Stability is super important, and regional stability is very much important. And I would say is that a peaceful neighbor can bring you peace. A distorted neighbor can bring you, confusion and chaos. So Pakistan, and we can see there's a spillover of instability in Afghanistan and Pakistan. We share common borders, we share common culture, we share trade across the border, and that has a spillover effect. Terrorism is itself a big thing, so we have to eliminate all those aspects. So Pakistan and America, if they can work together to bring stability in Afghanistan, there is a history of that. They have done it even in the past. And this time they probably have to work with the Taliban leadership. And for working with the Taliban leadership, recognition by both Pakistan and America is required. Are they both ready to accept them as a legitimate government over there? Because they are not fulfilling all three basic conditions that they spelled, like the world spelled out for them, that we will only accept you if you do all these three things. And still they are struggling with women empowerment, inclusivity, and they are struggling with their soil not to be used by terrorists against any other state. Pakistan has this serious concern. What is happening that they are not able to control all those elements on Afghanistan soil to conduct terrorist activities? So how the stability can be brought over there?
That is where both the countries could maybe work together jointly through different mechanisms in counter-terrorism and other factors in order to bring that stability in Afghanistan. Once stability comes to Afghanistan, once they understand what are the contours of their movement for a more stable future, that is where the whole region will become more stable as well. But then on the other hand, there are certain actors like India that do not want that stability to happen, because if that happens, the whole focus, the whole attention will divert to Pakistan and Afghanistan.
In this entire game of cards, if I put it, America cannot deny Pakistan position. Pakistan cannot deny American presence in the region. Indian presence is very much loud and clear to each one of us. And of course, if there is a stability in Pakistan, So India will not be very happy about it. And we should not forget election coming up both in India and America. So these kind of changes into the foreign policy, where we could see that in the recent past there were certain statements coming from America which were very anti or very hostile towards Pakistan. And I would say, I would just recall your attention to the recent visit of Modi, where they both were saying and using Pakistan name, and they were saying that there is terrorism and we want to eliminate all those terrorist activities, and that was like probably providing a picture of they grouping together against Pakistan to eliminate terrorism. So in this situation, suddenly such kind of positive developments taking place, this is a good gesture. Probably there is a realization in Washington that you cannot ignore Pakistan to this extent, and even you cannot corner them to this extent. You have to keep them active over there and utilize them for the best of the region and for bringing stability and achieving, of course, their desired goals. So this is why they are coming back to us, and they are talking, and they're having good sort of discussion.
How important is the US involvement as far as Pakistan's economic recovery is concerned, whether it be in the form of the standby arrangement of the IMF, the $3 billion US dollars, or the priority, as Bilawal Bhutto-Zardari Sahab also says, that is attached to economic and trade relations with the United States of America. How can both these countries, that is Pakistan and the US, bolster their trade ties?
Trade ties is very much important, and the role of United States is super important, because we have seen that in this era there is no direct conflict taking place. This is an era of sanctions and all. So all states are bound by that. If they are getting in partnership with another state, they have to follow the international trade norms and all.
Dr. Farah, thank you very much to have joined us. That's all for the moment, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you inshallah tomorrow. Allah Hafiz.